and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. I'm Grant Wall, joined as always by Winona State head football coach Tom Sawyer. And Coach, Saturday afternoon, Minnesota State Moorhead comes into town. They leave on the wrong end of a 65-21 decision. A really good game all across the board for the Warriors on Saturday.
Yeah, it felt really good just to get the W. The score really didn't matter. Our focus all last week was to finish football games, finish the series, finish the drive, finish the half, finish everything. And we really did that. Even with some young kids that got in the game late, they did very well also. So, yeah, we came out, got accomplished what we really wanted to do, took that pressure off us, got that, the monkey off our back kind of a thing. And now we can settle down and just start to refine our program again. And so I'm really excited for the guys.
All three facets of the game, offense, defense, special teams, did some really good things. Let's start on the offensive end. Jack Nelson, a true freshman, making just his second career start, threw for over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. A kid who looked not anything like a true freshman, just playing in his second game.
Yeah, he's way beyond his years. You come out your first college start, and you're in a torrential downpour up at St. Cloud and lose a tough game, and you turn around and come back for this one. And his leadership qualities are through the roof. He's calm, he's cool, he handles it well. He made some mistakes, but most of the time he made the right adjustment, made the right call when we asked him to make some of those decisions, and he did a great job. But he can put the ball in the money, he can throw it. We knew that. I did not know he was this good with the rest of the game, so it's a nice surprise.
You mentioned he made some mistakes, but one mistake he didn't make was turning the football over. How important is it for your quarterback to really take care of the football?
Well, yeah, he does a good job, and he has the ability to scramble a little bit. He threw the ball out of bounds, and he did a lot of that in high school too. He ran around a little bit more than we asked him to here. But more importantly, is he knows that we can't have negative plays. He gets that. If he feels trouble, he's going to dump it and not take a big sack. So I think that we got to actually slow him down a little bit in his read progression because he wants everything to happen so fast. But he'll learn that patience as he gets more comfortable in the pocket.
The ground game also got going on Saturday. Chichi Ojika with his first 100-yard game. Jordan Koss scored 4 times. Paul Preston had another nice game carrying the football. How much of a weight off of some of those offensive guys' shoulders was it to really bring up some chunks of yardage in that rushing game and get going on the ground a little bit?
Well, I think the biggest thing was the consistency of the whole game. We had ran the ball well occasionally at St. Cloud, occasionally against Bemidji. But those 3 running backs that you mentioned are really, really doing a nice job, and I'm really proud of those guys. And we need to play it that way. They're not big kids, but they're fast and they're shifty. And then Jordan Koss is kind of our power back guy, and he's come in. He's really kind of bought into that. That's my role, and scoring 4 touchdowns. One was actually 15 yards, so we'll give him credit for that one. But he's learned that that's his job. He's really taken on and says, "Watch me," and he's doing well.
Another guy on offense who had a really big day, wide receiver Alan May. He was named the conference's Special Teams Player of the Week, averaged 22 yards on 5 punt returns, really gave the Warrior offense good field position to start on throughout the game.
Yeah, it was neat to see that he was a Player of the Week. I didn't realize his stats were that big. A lot of times that spot goes unnoticed unless you take one all the way to the house, but he can flip the field. There was one where took it off the first bounce, made like 3 guys miss, and then he was out the door, and he was gone for, I think, a 47-yard return. But that kid is fearless. He's going to catch the football in traffic. He has embraced that role as well. Last year, he really kind of bought in. Hey, I'm the punt return guy, and now he's getting some accolades about it. And we'll start seeing some teams may not want to kick it to him.
He's one of the offensive weapons you have at wide receiver between him. Josh Mikas, Cameron Johnson had a really big game in his first year for the Warriors. So it's guys who are able to get open and make some plays downfield in the pass game as well.
Well, I think I've said it 1,000 times between the game and now, Grant, is that you start to see what our offense looks like because we see it every day. We just hadn't seen it being performed. Cameron Johnson got his first touchdown, and it was a back shoulder throw from a freshman quarterback. Down in the end zone, it was awesome. Josh Mikas doing his thing across the middle, over the top of somebody in the end zone. Alan May doing his thing. And really, Jack's first pass was to Tony Mueller for a 15-yard gain. So all those guys are involved. They're playing well. They're playing at a fast tempo, and it's really fun to see.
Let's go over to the defensive side of the ball. Really held the MSU Moorhead offense, which is pretty explosive, to not a whole lot.
Yeah, the guys up front are doing great. We're rotating 6-7 guys up front. The down 3 guys are doing great. Toby Frisbee had a big week for us, and Parker Detchins, of course, he's the workman's workman's job there. He's great. But that also the linebacker core is really playing well. We got four pretty special kids there at linebacker position, and and they also threw the ball up on Tevin Ivey a few times, and he played great. And him and Larry Mbayu back there, and of course you got who was it?
Anthony Cannonese on the other side.
Anthony Cannonese jumped in the game.
Yep.
Mitch Lunder's in the game. So again, you got a whole bunch of guys in that secondary that are really starting to play well.
Looking forward now, Minot State is on the schedule. A long road trip up to Minot, North Dakota. You spend so much time on the bus. What do you do to keep the guys fresh when you're making a trip that's as long as this one is?
Well, you just try to have some fun. We're gonna leave town at 6 o'clock in the morning. Of course, anybody sees this, they got a plane and want to take us. We're okay. But no, we're gonna leave at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're gonna drive to Fargo, and we'll eat along the way. But then we're gonna stop and have breakfast on the way, eat in Fargo, or practice in Fargo while we're going through, because that's about the halfway point, and then jump on the bus for another 3.5 or 4 hours from there, all the way up to Minot. Get there, have our meetings, and normal Friday night, and wake up in the morning and play. I mean, that's what it is, and we have to be prepared for that. It's a great lesson for our team on how to travel and play well. We handled the St. Cloud travel well. That's a 3.5 hour trip in one day. Now we got to take a 12-hour trip in 2 days, so it's not a whole lot different.
What does Minot State do successfully, and what do you have to do to counter that?
Well, I think what they do offensively, they got some weapons. They got a wide receiver, a Washington State transfer. They quarterback's a fairly good player. They got a really good running back. Their offensive line's big kids, and they're very traditional. They're sound. They know what they're doing. They play fast. Defensively, they got some big kids. They got some big cats in there that take up a lot of space and can run pretty well. They got one safety that's very active playing, and their corners are pretty aggressive kids. So we got our work cut out for us. So we got to go up there and take care of our business. But that's really truly what the Warriors have to do, is go out again, play a full 60 minutes, play as hard as we can, and see what the score is at the end.
Well, as the Warriors get on the bus, they'll have some pretty good images of last Saturday to take with them. Let's show you some of those images on the other side of this break. We'll get the highlights right after this. All right, welcome back. It was a great day on Saturdays. The Warriors took down MSU Moorhead. Let's go ahead and take a look at all the highlights from Saturday's action. We're going to start with the Warriors on offense. First possession of the game, Jack Nelson at quarterback. Nice little option run for Jack.
Yeah, he pulled it on really one of the first plays of the game for him, and you can see what kind of speed he really has. He's very, very good with the football in his hands.
And that set up this Chichiojika touchdown, get the Warriors on the board. Now Moorhead has the football. They're driving. We're going to see a nice defensive play stretching out this one.
Yeah, you guys really rallied to the football, and we talked last week about trying to get a lot of people around option football, and a great example of team play.
You're going to see a great throw here by Jack Nelson hitting Tony Mueller up the seam.
Yeah, this is something we saw all week long. They tried to run down the middle with their inside linebacker, the Tampa 2 is what people call that, and he put it right on his hands.
Another great throw from Jack right here.
Well, it's really the same thing. We just use a different kid. That's Josh Mikas now going down the middle. I think he might have been covered a little bit, but Jack put it right on him anyway.
And again, a little screen pass, getting a guy in space.
Yeah, it's Chichiojika again. You can see the guys out there working, they're flying around, and screen game was big for us with all the inside pressure they had last week.
Jordan Koss made a friend in the end zone. He scored 4 times.
Yeah, he's really bought into that role. He's been playing physical. It's kind of like that's his job, and he's got it, and he's not going to relinquish it.
Another pass by Jack, and a great catch by Josh Mikas.
Well, you'll see in a couple of these highlights just the athletic ability that we have at the wide receiver position. And here's Chichiojika again. You can see the kind of moves he has and how fast that kid's really fun to watch.
He's dangerous when the ball is in his hand. The Warriors now getting close to the red zone, have a chance to score. You're going to see him put them in right here.
Yeah, another great job. This is Cameron Johnson's first collegiate touchdown, a redshirt freshman from Springfield, Missouri.
Really good moment for him on Saturday. And Chichiojika, again, look at that hole.
Yeah, I think you and I might be able to go through there. Now, it might close quick, but we'd start there anyway, but that's Chichiojika.
We could have gotten a couple yards ourselves. A play-action pass now by Jack Nelson.
Well, the thing that he's learned is a little bit more patience. That's Alan May coming across in the diagonal and getting in the end zone for him. Special teams player of the week, touchdown. What a great day for Alan.
All right, Warriors on defense, not letting this one go anywhere.
Nah, pressure all over the place. Not sure who that was. I think that was Parker again.
Colin Corcoran, I think, on that
was it?
one.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, another one of those young freshmen or young redshirt freshman linebackers.
You mentioned Alan May, the NSIC's Special Teams Player of the Week. It's because of things like this, a great punt return. He gave the Warriors good field position all day.
Yeah, that was caught inside the 5-yard line and got it out to the 40, almost to the 40-yard line. Saved us a bunch.
All right, Paul Preston, freshman running back, doing his thing.
You know, the guy's everywhere. He does so many great things. He's got great balance and powerful for a little guy.
All right, again, a little bit of play action. Josh Mikas open deep.
Well, you can see he had two guys following around, and he still got the chance to get over the top of that, and Jack put it right on his hands.
All right, Warriors with the ball again. The running game really working well.
Yeah, and you can see how the backs, we always pride ourselves in yards after contact, and that was a great example of it here. Here's a little trick for the Warriors. Josh Mikas, reverse pass down here to Alan May. And if Alan would have ran the right route now, he'd have been in the end zone. But again, you got to have a little fun out there too.
All right, once again, in the red zone are the Warriors. Jordan Koss saying hello to the end zone once more.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns on the day for him, and he's a redshirt freshman too. So a lot of young guys doing some big things for the Warriors.
You're going to see some pressure from the Warrior defense on this play, and we'll watch what happens when the Warriors get pressure.
Well, you can see it just kept the kid in the pocket. We got some pressure on him as we flushed him out. He just turns and wheels it around, and there's watch a kid come off the sideline, Grant.
Boom!
I mean, that's like
from nowhere.
That's like a Woody Hayes thing. I thought we should have scored the touchdown, but I couldn't talk the officials into it.
All right, Warriors get the ball back after that interception. Again, Jack Nelson under center. Nice throw.
Now look at this catch. That is a freshman wide receiver jumping over a 6'2" kid.
Freshman to a freshman. A lot of really good things on this Saturday. And again, defensively, forcing a fumble.
Yeah, Ian Murray with a big, huge hit there. Guys scooping it up, but Ian really, really played well for us inside linebacker as well.
This became a little bit of a broken record, but Jordan Koss, end zone.
Well, we keep talking about Jordan Koss, but look at what's in front of him. I mean, our offensive line really, really played well on Saturday for things like that to happen.
Yeah, if you see it again on this play, line gets out and blocks downfield. Paul Preston with a great little run there. And now, again, Jordan Koss running from 15 yards out for a touchdown.
And what's cool about that play is that was all new offensive line in front of them, and they came in, didn't skip a beat, and got right after it. Fun day for the Warriors.
Well, it was fun to look at, Coach. A lot of great highlights from the big win over MSU Moorhead. When we come back, I'll sit down with one of those guys who played so well on Saturday, Larry Mbayu. Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. I'm joined now by Winona State defensive back Larry Mbayu. And Larry, let's first of all talk about last Saturday, a game against Minnesota State Moorhead. It was close early, then the Warriors kind of came out in the second half and really put some distance between yourself and the Dragons. Ended up with a 65-21 Winona State victory. How nice was it to, after the first 2 weeks of the season, to get this win, get one in the win column and get rolling?
I mean, it felt great to win finally. They scored on us early, and we, as a defense especially, we pride ourselves on nobody scoring on us. So after they scored on us, then we just got our focused mindset, and then went out and did our jobs.
Minnesota State Moorhead scored all 21 of their points relatively early, all in the first half. What was the difference for you guys in the second half of the game, as Moorhead really wasn't able to get any traction offensively?
I mean, I think we just 100% focused in on our jobs. We weren't focused on trying to do somebody else's job. We were just trying to each individually do our jobs, and as a team, we would have did well together.
That's something that the coaches talk about a lot. Is that you're 1 of 11,
right.
Just do your own job. Is that the mindset that you guys take onto the field each week? Is okay, I'm going to do mine and let everybody else do theirs, and together as a unit, we're going to make something special.
Right, definitely. That's the mindset we want to have. But I mean, at times you get all hyped up and you want to be all over the place and make plays. But for the most part, we all want to be on the same page and each do our job.
You led the team in tackles on Saturday. This is the first year where you're playing some significant time at corner. What's it been like for you to be on the field, pretty much every snap on defense?
I mean, it's felt great. I love playing. I love playing defense, playing special teams, and all that. It just feels good to be on the field.
The Northern Sun is such a good league. So many great players across the board. You've had a front row seat to see so many good quarterbacks and so many good receivers in your time here at Winona State. What's it like trying to get ready, knowing each week that you got to go up against somebody who's really, really good at what they do?
I mean, the coaches prepare us pretty good, so we just got to listen to the coaches and do what we're told, and I think we'll be fine.
Hey, you got 8 games left here in the regular season. What's the message going forward that the coaches are bringing to you as you go? You go to Minot this weekend, a long road trip, and then you start divisional play. What message are the coaches giving you in practice every day?
I mean, they expect a lot out of us, and we expect a lot out of ourselves. So we wanna go on a streak and keep winning.
All right, last question for you, Jack Nelson, freshman quarterback. He's had 2 starts now for the Warriors, played really well in both of them. You get to see him every day in practice, so you can bring a little unique perspective to the conversation about Jack. What has made him be able to be so successful through 2 games as the Warriors starting quarterback?
I mean, personally, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks I've seen in practice. When he's out there, I make sure I'm on my game, and I mean, all the other quarterbacks are good as well, but when he's out there, he's throwing bullets all the time. So I just make sure I'm on my game, and yeah, I think he'll be very successful in his career here.
Preseason camp, John Tegelin, who's we all know is a great quarterback, he's running with the 1s. Then all of a sudden, Jack Nelson comes in to do some work with the 2s. You're out there. John comes out of the practice or out of the scrimmage, and Jack comes in. Was it a feeling of, oh man, this guy's really good too. Now I got to go against him.
Right. I mean, there's no drop off when it comes to John to Jack. There's absolutely no drop off. They're pretty much the same quarterback. I think. They both throw bullets, both throw accurately, and they're both good.
Well, it's a great problem for the Warriors to have, having 2 great quarterbacks like they do in Tegelin and Nelson. Larry, thanks so much for joining us, and we will be right back here on the Tom Sawyer Show. Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. I'm joined now by Winona State defensive coordinator and linebackers coach David Braun. And Coach, let's talk about your unit on Saturday a little bit. Held a Minnesota State Moorhead offense that put up some pretty big numbers in their first 2 games. Held them to under 200 yards passing, under 150 yards rushing. So a great day for the Warrior defense on Saturday.
You know what, Moorhead, you got to give a lot of credit to Moorhead State and their offensive staff and their kids on that side of the ball. They do a lot of good things, high tempo offense, put a lot of pressure on you. They understand that they want to get the ball out quick and get their quarterback involved in their run game, and I think our kids did a really nice job after we settled in, getting an understanding of the tempo, understanding what they were trying to do in their passing game and in their run game. They had some good adjustments, and our kids handled that well, adjusted well, and we were able to finish, which was fun to see.
You mentioned how well you played once the team kind of settled in. The Dragons scored most of their points early. I think their last touchdown was a couple minutes into the 3rd quarter. So you held them off the scoreboard in that high-powered offense for almost 2 full quarters. What adjustments were you able to make that kept the Dragons from being able to move the ball at all?
You know, it comes back to option football, and teams that effectively run option are going to have an answer to everything that you're doing, and they saw previously how we were fitting some of those plays and came out with their adjustments, and we had to adjust back. But it really shows the maturity of our players, the fact that we can come to the sideline, make adjustments, talk through them, talk through some fits with them, and again, it really comes back to our kids. You can't always do that, but with the group of young men that we have right now, we're able to adjust and get some things taken care of, which was good to see.
Some type of option is so prevalent across football today. We'll see so many teams this year here in the NSIC that are running some sort of option football. What do you have to do to be successful defensively against a team that is trying to play off of what you're doing?
You need to tackle your assignment. If you're responsible for tackling the dive, you have to tackle the dive. If you're responsible for tackling the quarterback, you have to tackle the quarterback, and that's something that we really harp on with our guys as we go through fit drills throughout the week. I think as a coaching staff, we constantly have to be willing to evolve. Just because we did it one way 2 years ago doesn't mean that we can do it that way now, because the offensive mindset in that option football continues to grow and expand. And I think as a staff, that's something we really focused on this offseason, finding different people to talk to that see that on a weekly basis, see teams that do it very effectively, and that's something as a defensive staff that we've really focused on. And now to see our kids really understand how that needs to play out on the field, we're starting to see reap some of the benefits of that.
You have such a talented group of linebackers, the position group that you work with specifically. When you're looking for linebackers who you're going to put on the field on a Saturday afternoon, what are you looking for?
Obviously there's the physical dimensions, and you want to see a young man that enjoys playing the game of football and that's physical and can run and open their hips and some of those things. But I think most importantly, Grant, some of the things that Coach Sawyer and our staff look for is a young man that's going to be willing to grow in our system. And we talk about open and honest communication all the time. And through that recruiting process, as much as we tell them how much we like them, we also make sure that when we get them on campus, we have some really, I don't want to say hard conversations, but real conversations with them about the things that are going to be expected and needed for them to get to the point that we both want to see them achieve. And I think where that's come around is that you got a group of young men that understand what's expected out of them, play extremely hard, play together, and are totally bought into the program.
You've got a really, really good group of young men in that position right now, led in the middle by Ryan Gertz, a guy who was the conference newcomer of the year a couple years ago and has really continued to grow in his inside linebacker spot.
He has. He's fun to watch. It's fun to see him really start to take over some leadership in that group now in his third year, with some young guys that are pushing him for playing time. But to see him really take those young guys under his wing, show them the way it needs to be done in all facets of preparing for game week, and also knowing that those guys are doing everything they can to buy some playing time in the process. It's been fun to see Ryan's leadership qualities really blossom this fall.
On the outside in your 3-4 alignment, you've got some guys who can really get into the backfield and disrupt some things for the opponent's offense. Terrell Foster on one side and Morgan Weaver on another. How nice is it just to be able to tell those guys, okay, pin your ears back and go?
They are fun to watch. And Terrell is just such an explosive player. And the thing that we work with Terrell all the time is understanding where he needs to fit in the defense, but also let him just go play. Because what Terrell's best at is just chasing down the football and making plays. And Morgan Weaver has really grown as a overall football player. So talented in coverage, does a nice job on the line of scrimmage and run fits, but really, really started to develop as a pass rusher. And those two out on the edge make our jobs awfully easy.
It's a position group that has had 3 really solid games so far this year. You head to Minot State this Saturday. What's the one thing you're looking at from your guys this week to bring back a victory from North Dakota?
I'll be honest with you, Grant. We're still looking for a full 60 minutes out of our group, a full 60 minutes out of our defense. And it was great to get a win this past week, and it was great to see our guys finish. But we felt like we still haven't played we played some good football, but we haven't played great football for 60 minutes yet. And Minot's going to pose some issues of their own, a little bit more traditional football. They're going to look to establish the run game. Got some talented kids up front and a couple backs that can really do some things out of the backfield. But we're looking for our kids to be focused after a long road trip and be ready to play a great 60 minutes of football.
One last thing to talk about is a guy named Jack Nelson, freshman quarterback, who started the last 2 games for the Warriors. He's a guy that you get to see every day in practice. You don't have to go up against him in the games, which is probably a good thing, but you get to see him every day in practice. What's been impressive to you about this kid? I mean, he's only 2 months into his college career. What's impressed you about him?
His arm speaks for itself. I mean, the first couple of days of practice, it's a situation of who is that? And, to see him physically is pretty straightforward. But what I've been most impressed with is just his composure, the way he handles himself. To see a young man that's going into his first college start and then this past week his second college start, to handle himself the way he does, even from afar, just walking by him on the practice field or after practice or on his way to meetings. The young man's got some moxie, that's for sure. And I'm certainly glad that we only have to see him in practice.
Well, it'll be fun to see him on the field on Saturday. It'll also be fun to watch that Warrior defense flying around to the football on Saturday. when the Warriors head up to Minot, North Dakota to take on Minot State. It's a 1:30 kick on Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Tom Sawyer Show on the Warrior Sports Network. For Corey Purdell, for Coach Sawyer, for everybody here, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.